Hello, my name is Joshua Foreman, and I'm the head of research at the Singapore-based startup company Plano, and a research fellow working at the University of Melbourne and New York University. I was honored to be accepted to give an oral presentation on some of Plano's research at the annual meeting of the Association for Research in Vision and Ophthalmology, or ARVO for short, which was to take place this month in Baltimore in the United States. But sadly, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, ARVO has been cancelled, and I and the thousands of other members of the eye research community who would normally attend could not convene in person to share our discoveries and our ideas. But while much of the world remains in lockdown, we at Plano decided that we still wanted to share our ARVO talk with the world. With technology, it's possible to reach just as many, if not more people, right from the comfort of our own living rooms. So today, I will do just that and present my ARVO talk right here from my makeshift studio with my smartphone. So let's begin. At Plano, we develop solutions for managing excessive smart device use and myopia among children worldwide, and we've turned the problem into the solution with our smart device-based application, also called Plano. The Plano app has been launched in 8 countries and currently helps almost 250,000 children to develop healthier relationships with their smart devices and to protect their eyes from the damaging effects of screens. Part of how this is achieved is through the accumulation of big data from our user base. In this talk, I'll discuss how the use of the smart device app has allowed us to collect big data on eye care utilization in a multi-country sample of children. Main disclosures to note are that I and other authors are either employed by or have financial interests in the company Plano. So we require data on pediatric eye healthcare service utilization because we're facing a rapidly worsening global myopia crisis, with half of the global population expected to be myopic by the year 2050. In some developed parts of Asia like Singapore, up to 90% of people are myopic by the time they leave school. Early detection during childhood is crucial to allow clinicians and parents to manage myopia, and data on the proportion of children undergoing examinations is required to optimize health promotion and resource allocation strategies in each country. Unfortunately, most countries simply do not have data. There's some variability regarding the recommended frequency with which children should undergo eye examinations. For example, the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness recommends 1 to 2 yearly examinations, while the American Optometric Association even recommends annual examinations. Given the wider context of the worsening myopia epidemic and the tendency for myopia to progress significantly, even within 1 year in many children, we were interested to know the more conservative rates of annual examinations in this analysis. One reason for the lack of data is that conducting surveys to collect it is difficult and expensive. While survey designs have evolved due to technological advancements, most, including many that use door-to-door or telephone recruitment, have been limited by several factors. These include the fact that most are cross-sectional, so changes in utilization can't be tracked over time, that they have limited geographic coverage, and that they have small sample sizes. However, the advent of smart devices and globally distributed internet connectivity has actually created an opportunity to collect big data on eye health, including the use of eye care services on a global scale, and to turn this into an entrepreneurial opportunity. Enter Plano. We have developed a science-based ecosystem with support from government and research institutes that includes the Plano app, the Plano shop, and Plano EyeCheck, which actually prompts and allows parents to book eye examinations for their kids directly through the platform. The details of the ecosystem are a bit beyond the scope of this talk, but the component that allows us to collect big data on eye health service utilization is the Plano app itself. So how does it work? Parents download Plano from the Apple or Google Play stores onto a phone or tablet and register an account for themselves as well as for their children. Informed consent is provided through agreement to the privacy policy, and the parent then provides demographic information, as well as information about whether the child has ever undergone an eye examination, and if so, at what age. We also collect data on the use of spectacles and spectacle prescription. The app prompts parents to update this information on a regular basis, allowing for longitudinal data collection and longitudinal analysis. The device instruments itself also collect objective data on time children spend on devices, face-to-screen distance, posture, and spectacle wear compliance. All data are stored securely on Plano servers for subsequent analysis. Data security and privacy of the highest industry standards are maintained through several procedures at Plano. To date, Plano has launched in 8 countries around the world, including Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, India, Bangladesh, Australia, the Philippines, and the United States, with plans for further expansion underway. The results presented here are derived from our sample up to November 2019. Our user base has approximately quadrupled in size since then, so our currently growing database is likely to have more accurate representation of utilization rates now compared to what are presented in this talk. Nonetheless, even at November 2019, we're able to analyze 59,000 active child accounts, with samples ranging from 1,300 in Bangladesh to 21,000 in India. Much of the variability was partly due to having launched the app later in some countries. Of those 59,000 children, 63% were male with a mean age of 8.4 years. The average number of siblings of each child was around 0.4. A total of only 22.6% of children across all 8 countries had ever undergone an eye examination, and just 9% had been examined in the past year. The highest rate of utilization was found in Singapore, with 15.1% of children having undergone an eye exam in the past year. The lowest rate was seen in the Philippines, at just 2.5%. Now, let's have a look at how rates varied by various socio-demographic variables. For brevity, I'll focus on the combined rates from all countries, as well as Singapore specifically. Each rate disaggregated by the variable in question is presented and is standardized to the age and sex distributions of the global and Singaporean populations respectively, with 95% confidence intervals shown. The tables beneath each of the graphs shows corresponding odds ratios for the influence of the variable. And the red arrows and boxes indicate which groups differed significantly from the referent group. For the effect of age on utilization rates, older age groups were compared with the youngest group of 2 to 6 years as the referent group. Rates of utilization were seen to vary by age in the whole sample, with the rate of 11.6% in children aged 7 to 11 compared to 7.3% in children aged 2 to 6 years. In Singapore, children aged 7 to 16 were more likely to have had an eye exam than those aged 2 to 6. This was particularly pronounced among 7 to 11-year-olds, who were 3 times more likely to have had an eye examination than 2 to 6-year-olds. Girls across the total sample, as well as in Singapore specifically, were more likely to have had an eye examination than boys, with boys having odds of having undergone an examination of 0.77 in the whole sample and 0.88 in Singapore compared to girls. Having more siblings tended to increase the odds of having had an eye examination, but there was not an enormous amount of variability, particularly across all 8 countries combined. The sibling effect was more pronounced in Singapore alone, where rates reached around 18% in children with 2 to 4 siblings compared to 14% in children with no siblings. The sibling effect was reversed with 4 or more siblings, reducing the odds of having been examined. Now, let's consider these findings. At least within the countries in which Plano has been launched, rates of utilization of eye health services are low among the pediatric population. Even in Singapore, which is known to have a high prevalence of myopia and a world-class health system, uptake was still seen to be low. This is likely to be reflected in the data from other countries as Plano continues to expand. As many as 2/3 of myopes are not undergoing annual examinations. Obviously, these children are at high risk for further deterioration of their vision, and insufficiently regular exams may be putting them at even greater risk. The fact that only 7% of non-myopes utilized eye care services suggests that the remaining 93% who have not been examined are at risk, and many may already be myopic without having been diagnosed. Timely examination might provide an opportunity to detect myopia in its early stages and permit intervention in these individuals. Younger children, and in particular boys and those either with no siblings or more than 4 siblings, had the lowest examination rates. Considering the age effect specifically, as children grow older and their incidence of myopia increases, we might expect their engagement with services to increase. And this was reflected in these findings. But with the progressively earlier age of onset of myopia in current times, younger children may actually benefit from increasing their examination frequency. And reflecting on the use of the Plano app itself to conduct this investigation. The advantages of collecting data on eye health service utilization through an app like Plano include the recruitment of a sample that is an order of magnitude larger than most eye health surveys, and the increasing sample size is now growing organically, accumulating thousands of new individuals every week. These big data are useful for training AI algorithms for predictive analytics and targeting of eye health interventions. Further, the problem of comparability between populations resulting from issues of differing methodologies has been eliminated because a standardized tool, the Plano app, is being used across all countries to collect the data. As parents provide data on utilization of eye health services and myopia status regularly, while the app also collects objective data in real time, we obtain both cross-sectional and longitudinal information on how utilization changes and how this interacts with changes in other key variables. And finally, although I've not delved deeply into the other functions of Plano, the app functions as a data collection tool that also works as a platform for intervention, both by motivating children to reduce their risk factors for myopia, but also by providing a platform that allows users to book eye examinations directly through the app. We look forward to regularly updating this analysis as our user base grows, and to providing solutions to help children to get more regular eye examinations in the hope that this will help in the global fight against myopia. We believe that improving the health of children's eyes is our shared responsibility. Solving global problems requires global collaboration. And so, Plano is eager to develop research partnerships with institutes, universities, governments, health service providers, and other key stakeholders from all around the world. If you'd like more information about Plano and our range of research activities, please do feel free to contact me via email at joshua.foreman@plano.co. From the Plano family, we hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and we look forward to seeing some of you in real life at next year's ARVO in San Francisco. Thank you very much.